You're listening to Three Things to Know with Stephanie Haney. The people you want to hear from and the things you need to know in Northeast Ohio and beyond. Get in the know, stay in the know. Starting right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Three Things to Know podcast. I'm Stephanie Haney. Can you believe that we are on the other side of Thanksgiving? I cannot. That is just absolutely wild to me. Time is flying. I hope that everybody had a wonderful holiday and that you got to eat a lot of good food. Maybe you've got some leftovers that you're snacking on right now. I hope everyone got to spend somehow, some way, time with family and friends and loved ones over a video chat. But of course, that we all kept our circles small so that we can try and keep each other safe and all of that good stuff. And now that we have Thanksgiving behind us, we are staring down gift giving season. We are looking it straight in the eyes, and it is coming at us full throttle. Now, there are lots of options for holiday gift buying this year. Of course, tons of options to shop online, tons of major retailers. But with this being Small Business Saturday, this is a great time for a reminder for why this is a particularly good year to shop small if you can. Now, there are lots of reasons why that's important. So to talk about that today, joining me will be Emily Lauer from Destination Cleveland. If you're not familiar, Destination Cleveland is a private nonprofit organization, and it's basically like a hub for all kinds of information on the places to be and the things to do in the greater Cleveland area. So they've really kind of been innovating and reinventing themselves in the past year. And really, there's no better organization to talk with on why shopping small is such a big deal and what that means to us as Northeast Ohioans, and really how it kind of shapes our identity when it comes to other people around the world that might want to come here and see us here in Cleveland. So let's get you in the know on that right now. And to do that, we'll bring in Emily. Emily, thanks for coming on Three Things to Know today.
Happy to be with you, Stephanie. Thanks for having me.
Shopping online is easy, right? And it's definitely easy to go for that 2-day shopping from those big places like Amazon Prime. But can you tell us, why is it so important that we invest in our small businesses?
You know, Stephanie, it's a great question and it has a lot of answers, but I'm going to focus on two for our conversation. So for starters, when we support locally owned and operated shops here in Cleveland, it really gives us a chance to share the Cleveland experience, right? And support the Cleveland experience. And that Cleveland experience, while right now visitors aren't encouraged necessarily to come see us, it's so important that we maintain that experience for when visitors can, right? It shows who we are. It illustrates our creativity, our ingenuity, our uniqueness, our resiliency, quite frankly, in 2020. And so by shopping local this holiday season, we'll be able to preserve that Cleveland experience in the long term. Shops, I think, there's also a sense of pride that comes with supporting local and being supported by locals. Those are our fellow Clevelanders that own those shops. And, to be able to show off something that was made by someone in Cleveland, that's like, what a great sense of pride that is. Or to know that you're really helping someone who's really entrepreneurial to help build their community. Again, what a great sense of pride. So, and then I would say the second reason, it's the dollars and cents. It's the numbers. It's the economics of it. So for every dollar that someone spends at the locally owned shop here in Cleveland, more than 2/3 of that dollar stays in. And that doesn't happen when you shop online at a national chain or at a national chain in Cleveland. Not to say that they don't provide, an important service in the retail atmosphere and ecosystem, but in a time like this, the more dollars we can keep in Cleveland, the better off we'll be to help preserve that Cleveland experience.
I wasn't aware of that actually when you shop local, more of that money stays in our community. And that is important when it comes to all kinds of things like building up resources and just access to things that our communities need here. And to your point about the pride, whenever I go anywhere, not that I've been going anywhere, or that anybody's really been going anywhere all that much lately, but I do always want to do it like a local. So having those things there to do it like a local and be able to really show who we are as Clevelanders, as Northeast Ohioans, is very important. Now, things are in flux right now. We've got this 10 p.m. curfew thing. We had a total shutdown of non-essential businesses at one point. How are we doing? How are our small businesses impacted by those early closures?
Well, I don't have hard data to say for sure. Kind of finding very, very localized data is difficult. But I mean, I think, there are a few ways that the early closures affected our small businesses. First of all, think about the stress level for someone who owns a shop that employs other people, they're Clevelanders, right? Just a handful of other Clevelanders. So the stress on top of the personal side of things, how am I going to pay my employees? How am I going to pay my rent or my mortgage? And then with the Responsible Restart Ohio guidelines, there's obviously an added cost to operating your business. I have to keep my place clean. I have to be able to maintain social distance. So there's infrastructure cost and then ongoing cleaning and sanitation costs for those business owners. So that has an effect on a business's operation. These businesses run on super tight profit margins, and some are probably even operating prior to the pandemic and even now without a profit margin, right? They're doing it because it's their passion. They love it. I think that's true whether you are a shop owner as well as a maker, right? So you're the craftsman making what you're selling in your store, or if you're selling products that are made elsewhere, it's still, it's what you want to do. You're an entrepreneur, and so you'll operate that store even without making a profit. I think the other thing that the early closures did, and since being open, it's really shown those small business owners that business as usual, that's a term that's so far out the window now, right? Like business as usual is changing every day. I mean, we've seen it, to your point, change just a couple of times already this week. So business owners have had to get creative. They've had to, and it's, I think the word that we will all be happy to never use again, they've had to pivot. Or what we used to say was they had to adapt, to how to do this. And so, those early closures, I think businesses are coming back. But there are some studies out there. I'm going to look down for a second, just because I think there's some really good data to share, that 65% of independent business owners said in a survey in June that they were concerned about their customers returning and getting their sales back on track. And 40% of those surveyed said that they thought it was going to be more than a year for them to be able to recover, if at all. Those are staggering statistics, but what I hope they do is they encourage people here in Cleveland to try and shop as much local as they can this holiday season.
Well, that's definitely what we're talking about today, is how we can help people do that and know that they can do that safely. And there are lots of small businesses that have online options, but for the ones that don't, there are safety measures that are being put in place. And I want to timestamp this here. I don't normally like to do this, but this is the end of November 2020, because things are in such flux. They are changing. So talk to me about Destination Cleveland's Clean Committed program.
Happy to do that. And also talk a little bit about, sort of different ways to shop if it's not being able to purchase online. So Destination Cleveland earlier this summer, it was about June, I think, introduced our Clean Committed program. We created standards for businesses across the hospitality, retail industries. And the reason that we felt it was important to create standards was because, both residents and visitors, there's so much to figure out, right? If you're going to go out. And so if people can have a standard, consistent set of measures across the board, similar to the Ohio Responsible Restart guidelines, it just helps them. And then we gave stores a visual display of that. So what those standards include are things related to mask wearing, because of course they were created before the mask order from the state of Ohio. They're about standards in cleaning and sanitation. So they really, ultimately what they do is they're there to give consumers peace of mind. And by a business saying, they sign on to Clean Committed, they say, I am going to uphold these standards because the health and safety of my customers and my employees is top priority for me. So Clevelanders can look and see if there's a Clean Committed logo as they go into a business, or they can look on social, because a lot of our Clean Committed businesses have been promoting themselves as such on their social media channels, and they can have a little bit more peace of mind that the environment they're about to go into is as clean as it possibly can be, and that there are measures being taken to help create as healthy and clean of an environment as possible.
That is definitely good to know. Now, I want to hear more about what you were saying about the options for purchasing aside from purchasing online. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so, I was thinking about it this morning and this week, and again, it kind of goes to the creativity and another benefit to shopping local. If you think about shopping local, right? Chances are you may know the business owner, or someone who knows the business owner. And what shopping local allows you to do is create a relationship with that business owner and their employees, right? So you kind of feel like you have a stake in it, but they also are invested in you and can provide probably a bit more detailed customer service than you could potentially get in a big box retail location. So say a store right now doesn't have online shopping available, but they have their products shown on their website, or they use social media to show off what they have in inventory. What you can do with that is you can pick up the phone, or you can send an email, or you can send a direct message through social if you're not comfortable literally going into the store to browse, because of course we are under the stay-at-home advisory as well, so we're encouraged not to spend a Friday, Saturday, Sunday out there browsing.
Right.
So you can kind of know what you want. You can give a call or send a message and say, I'm interested in this. Can I give you my credit card over the phone? And either arrange for shipping, or I'll swing by and pick it up, right? So again, you've minimized the contact. It's very similar to restaurant delivery that we've seen. So I think that's an option. And then I also think gift certificates are an option, because that's another way to support local, right? Gift cards and gift certificates in this holiday season. That they're not as fun as seeing someone open a great locally made product and kind of the reaction you get, but it's a safe way to do it.
That's a great point about the gift certificates, because we're not going to be in this forever. We're just not.
That's right.
And we're going to need those gift certificates, and that money, we're going to need it in the future when we're ready to go out and do things and patronize these places. Emily, thank you so much for sharing all of this valuable information. Where can people find more from Destination Cleveland?
So Destination Cleveland, primary place to find information is on our website, which is thisiscleveland.com. We're on Twitter. Our handle is @theClee. And then on Instagram, of course, as well, because everybody loves seeing the visuals these days. And that is This Is CLE on Instagram. So thanks for having me, Stephanie.
Thank you, Emily. I appreciate it. All right, now we know why it's important to shop small. Let's talk about where to do it. Our 3 News contributor, Laura DeMarco, has written a full guide on shopping small in the greater Cleveland area, and that's up on WKYC.com right now. Laura has covered Cleveland culture for the last 2 decades, and a lot of that time at the Plain Dealer. She writes about things like art, entertainment, small businesses, food, basically all the things that we actually really care about. And she's written 2 books about the ghosts of Cleveland past and Cleveland today. Those are called Lost Cleveland and Cleveland Then at Now. I highly recommend you check those out. She's here now to get us in the know about shopping small this holiday season. So let's bring her in. Laura, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thanks so much for the invitation, Stephanie.
I think that a lot of people want to shop small, and I think maybe it's just kind of tough to know where to start. So you have some suggestions for us today. What do you have to get us going?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of people do want to shop small, which is such a big thing, right? There's like thousands of places. And this year it's really harder than ever because for the places, because mom and pops have been so hard hit by, COVID-19 precautions and, just the whole kind of economy. It's really hit them hard. And a lot of them have been closed. So it is really hard to figure out what to do. And now, as cases have risen, a lot of people are trying to be more cautious, hopefully not going out so much. So I came up with some places that I think will accomplish two things: get people out and supporting local businesses, small businesses, but also keeping you safe at this time period. A lot of the options are online or gift cards for the future. So we want to help the businesses and help everybody stay healthy at the same time.
Absolutely. Definitely. Win-win situation there.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start with a really great gift card. I think the Cleveland Independence gift card. Like, no places have been harder hit really by coronavirus precautions and closures than restaurants and bars. And we have such a great restaurant and bar scene in Cleveland, and they're really struggling and need our help. And of course, you can go out just to buy individual gift cards at places, but the Cleveland Independence gift card, which you can get at clevelandindependence.com, can be used in more than 80 local restaurants and bars in all sides of town. They include some of my favorites like Bruno's and just, there's just so many great places. So wherever you live, if you want to go classy, Pier W is on there. If you want to go casual, there's lots of casual places, and they're good, indefinitely, most of them. So it's a great option. You might not want to go out now to celebrate with your family. That's probably not a good, the best idea, but you can, use them next year. And I also saw online, someone on Twitter suggested giving one of these cards and then like printing out the menu from some recommended places and like highlighting their favorite items on it. And I thought that was a really nice idea too.
What a nice personal touch to add to that. And I was just going to say, if you're giving this as a gift, it's one thing to buy it for yourself. But if you're giving it as a gift, that gives you a lot of options because it is so many restaurants. And maybe if you don't know exactly what someone loves to eat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of food, though, I think we all love food, and especially comfort food. Do you have any other ideas specifically when it comes to maybe like a sweet tooth?
Yes. Well, one of my favorites eateries is Mitchell's ice cream. I could actually eat Mitchell's for a whole meal. I don't know about you. It's so good. And there's so many locations around town. And they also have gift cards that you can get from $5 to $200. So if you know someone on your shopping list who really has a sweet tooth, I would highly suggest a Mitchell's gift card. It's good at all their locations for eat-in or takeout. And they have some of their great seasonal flavors coming out now. So you can, even go there around the holidays with these gift cards, like the cinnamon or pumpkin spice or their peppermint stick, which is so good.
That's a great example of something that I wouldn't necessarily buy for myself, but I would not be mad if someone gave me a $200 gift card to Mitchell's ice cream. I would find times to use it. I absolutely would. Definitely. Now, when I think of shopping small, I think of handmade things. Mm-hmm. So where can people get that kind of things around here?
That's a great question. Usually around the holidays, we have so many markets in Cleveland, like Cleveland Bazaar, and there's just so many great places you can go shop, like 78th Street Studios. And a lot of those are still going on, but not all of them. And people may not be comfortable going out to markets also. So 3 local, actually regional, I should say, because one is from Pittsburgh, but 3 regional markets have come together with what I think is a really neat idea. It is called Shop Holiday Handmade. And this includes gifts and everything you can imagine: clothing, candles, food products, knitting, everything that you would usually find at a handmade market, online at shopholidayhandmade.com. That market is going on this weekend, the weekend after Thanksgiving, but it also, the website will still be up. What's different that this weekend you can go on and the vendors will talk to you live, and you can actually ask them like, hey, my mom likes this kind of jewelry. What do you recommend, for example? And it's such a great way to support these local makers who don't have the usual outlets to sell their wares this year. And this is such a big time of year for them. And you can safely buy, handmade local goods.
And then connect with those makers too. And then maybe for other needs throughout the season too, even though these markets aren't necessarily always live, but you can get in touch with those people. I love that you can chat live with them. That's such an interesting element to add to it.
Yeah, you can always go on Etsy, right, and buy cool stuff, but this actually gives it that personal touch, because I'm sure you've been to a lot of the markets, you're walking through and you see some, like, you weren't thinking about buying, some fancy handmade soaps, but those look amazing and you're going to buy them. So this kind of brings things to your attention that you may not log on to the site specifically looking for.
Mm-hmm. The impulse buy. We're definitely missing out on the impulse buy.
Yes, definitely.
A lot right now. Something else that I always kind of think of in the holiday season, probably because when I would come home for holidays when I was living far away, my family would go to a lot of movies together. Mm-hmm. That's something that I've always done with my dad and my brothers. And this is just kind of a weird time for that. So what do you recommend right now for movie lovers?
Yeah, it's such a hard time. I mean, after the hospitality industry, the movie industry has probably been hit the hardest, from Hollywood people making the movies to local theater owners. And in Cleveland, we're actually really fortunate. We have one of the few remaining locally owned chains in America here. We actually have two, and Atlas and Cleveland Cinemas. And Cleveland Cinemas has been around since the late 70s, and it's such a great chain. You might know their theaters, the Cedar Lee, the Capitol on the West Side, Chagrin. Um, and they, like all theaters, have been hit really hard because there's just not a lot of new movies coming out. And so there's not a lot of product to see. And I actually have been there to see a movie. I went to see Tenet there, and I felt like it was so safe. There was lots of distance, super clean. Concessions were run very well. But if you're not comfortable doing that, Cleveland Cinemas is selling gift cards that can be used, all next year and beyond. They're available at their clevelandcinemas.com website, and it's just a really great way to help this local gem stay in business and give the movie lover in your life something to look forward to next year when movies start to come out again. And Wonder Woman is opening on Christmas Day this year, so there's always that option. It's coming to both theaters and HBO Max.
They have been doing some great things in terms of cleaning cinemas as well, with those fogging machines, and then some of that technology is being used in other places as well. So that's really good to hear. And if there's a movie that might get people out to the theaters, it just might be Wonder Woman. I mean,
definitely.
Gal Gadot.
Tempting me. I love her.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, ooh, if I'm going to do it, I might quarantine for 2 weeks just to go see Gal Gadot and spend Christmas with her. Mm-hmm. Now, events aren't happening right now, but people do still love their arts and entertainment. I feel like I might be asking a lot from you on this one, but what ideas do you have for us specifically in that space? Anything?
There are some events happening, and you could always take some people, like, for example, Wild Winter Lights at the zoo, outdoors. Really safe. You could take somebody as a treat. You could buy them a zoo membership, for next year, for example. Stan Hewitt is also doing their light show. So you get down there to Akron, check out Deck the Hall, see some old Akron, holiday window displays. There's a lot of, I really feel like there's a lot of outdoor activities which seem very cautious and like safe things to do. So maybe you don't want to buy somebody something, but you want to get them an experience, and that would be, a great way to get together and kind of bond this holiday season, which is going to be kind of hard and lonely for a lot of people.
Anything specifically for the people who are missing concerts?
Well, I think that we have a lot of great record stores in Cleveland, and talk about mom and pop shops. These are very small, independently owned little stores. And in fact, what a great thing, like vinyl has really come back. Wouldn't that be cool to get someone some vinyl records, for Christmas or Hanukkah this year? Cool. There's stores all over town. One of my favorites is Blue Arrow over on Waterloo, because not only do you get to shop for great records there, you get to see some of the Waterloo Alley Cats from their charity that they run. So that's always fun. And they are open now, as are a couple of other stores. There's a new store in Parma that's just opened by Rudy Strudel on Ridge Road, so you could stop in for some pierogi and some vinyl in front, and then Brittany's record shop over in Slavic Village. And just might be kind of a fun way to get out. These stores are very small. I've been to two of them recently, very clean seeming, just a good way to support really small local business owners, and give something fun to the music lover on your shopping list.
Well, you've definitely given us a lot of great options, Laura. I know you have more for us. Those are up on WKYC.com in your always very extensive guides that I love.
Thank you.
For shopping small this season. Now, where can people connect with you specifically when you're sharing things like this?
So if you have any ideas, or you want to talk more about shopping or Cleveland history or anything, you can find me on Instagram at Lost Cleveland, same on Facebook at Lost Cleveland. And also I'm on Twitter at Laura DeMarco Clee. So I'd love to hear from Clevelanders about your ideas about things.
Thank you so much, Laura. We appreciate you making time to talk with us today about shopping small in Cleveland.
Yeah, thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. Those were all such great ideas from Laura DeMarco. She really knows the greater Cleveland area inside and out. Obviously, she's been covering it relentlessly for the past 20 years. So that makes sense. Okay, next up, let's get you filled in on the hidden gem you need to know in NEO. And we're keeping with our shopping small theme here. And no one is more in the know about shopping in general in Northeast Ohio than our 3 News reporter, Jasmine Monroe. So let's get her in here. Jasmine, thanks for being here.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Stephanie. It's nice to see you too.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's nice to see your beautiful face in person. Of course, I'm seeing you on the TV and online, but to actually be chatting with you kind of face to face as we can be right now. Anyway.
Right. Socially distant, but connected.
Yes, exactly. And you are our inside track today. You're getting us connected to the best shopping in need to know in Northeast Ohio. So what do you have for us?
All right. So here's the deal. I am a bargain shopper. I think that I've told people a lot of times on the morning show that I have over 365 pairs of shoes. And that's real.
Yes.
So that is the last time I counted. But I always make sure when I buy a pair of shoes, I donate a pair of shoes. Or when I buy a shirt, I donate a shirt. So I try to keep that so I'm not going crazy and my closet looks insane.
Yes, some balance for sure.
Yes, but Avalon Exchange is a consignment store, and it's right on the west side. So if you guys know where Saucy Brewworks Pizza is, and I think it's Rising Star, the coffee shop. Everyone goes there, but this place has hidden gems. It has designer. Sometimes you can find some designer things in there, but the clothes are of course consignment, but it's the best shopping ever. There are a few pictures that I got a chance to post on Instagram. When you check out, people think it's like, how much did you pay for that? I'm like, $5, $20. So even this blazer, I can't remember how much it cost, but I got it from there. And it's just, it's fun stuff and shopping for fun and making sure, I'm saving at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I love to shop a lot, so I have to do it responsibly.
Funny story about your shoes situation. So if you're not familiar with Jasmine, her thing is news and shoes. And she's always posting these incredible photos of her in the field with her beautiful shoes, right? Well, when we started working from home, I posted this photo about news without shoes, and I thought Jasmine was going to literally murder me. She was like, Stephanie, we need to get you some shoes. So she's not lying about those over 300 pairs of shoes. I'll just tell you that. But I have to ask you, Jasmine, how did you find Avalon Exchange? Because consignment shops can definitely be hit or miss. So how did you find this particular one?
So they used to be located in Lakewood, and I used to frequent this bar. It's called the Arcade over there. I don't know if it's called the Art. Yes, I think it's called, or I don't know. It's called something bit. I can't remember.
Is it 64-bit or 16-bit? One of those?
Something like that. But it's arcade. It's games for free in there. So we would drink and we would play like Pac-Man. And I looked in the store and I seen this like fancy outfit inside of the window. And I just walked inside and I realized I saw on the wall. Now, everyone knows that I'm from Pittsburgh. Don't hold it against me. I do love Cleveland. I've been here for 5 years and in Youngstown in 3. So I'm more so a Clevelander or Ohioan than a Pittsburghie. But
good. We'll take you.
Avalon Exchange. This is crazy, Stephanie. Avalon Exchange was founded in Pittsburgh.
Really?
In Squirrel Hill. Yes. So it's like... It's like, it makes sense, it's I'm a homegrown person, but Cleveland and Pittsburgh are so similar. So to me, it's funny that when they have it like a chalkboard up in Lakewood, this was their old store. So they have 2 stores. One is in Coventry. I like to say they have a lot of better things than the one in Lakewood because their store was bigger. Mm-hmm. But now they're very particular about what they take. Before, I think that they used to just take a lot because they were starting off. But Pittsburgh has the best consignment clothes in their store. I mean, it's a huge store. It's great. I think they're also in Orlando too. So they're across like in favorable places. So I definitely think you should check it out. You would love it, at least.
Have you actually sold anything there?
Yes. And a funny story, I actually sold something and my friend bought it. So we both shop at the same, and I was looking at it and I was like, that looks like my purse. And I knew it was my purse because I got it from Jamaica. So I'm like, it just looks so familiar and it's just so weird. And I'm like, I know she went to Jamaica too. So maybe she got the same purse and I just didn't know. And she's like, no, I got it from Avalon Exchange. I was like, that's not. So it was so funny, but it's oftentimes they do. I mean, I'm pretty sure now consignment is even more like they are very strategic how they take their clothes and very strict, especially with COVID. So I haven't been there lately, but I do know that they are particular. They don't just take anything. You can't just dump out all of your old clothes at No Baby Fat or Fat Farm or FUBU. They won't be taking that.
No juicy tracksuits showing up at Avalon Hingetown.
No juicy suits. None of the velour sweatsuits.
All right, I guess I won't go then. I won't try to sell anything there, but maybe I'll buy some things.
Yeah.
So if people want to check this out, they've got an Instagram account. That Instagram account is Avalon Exchange Hingetown, for the one that's on the west side that you talked about. Like you said, it's by Saucy Brew Works. So the Hingetown area, that's part of Ohio City. That's kind of nestled in between the Gordon Square Arts District, the Warehouse District, and Ohio City's Market District. So it's very convenient and very accessible. And Jasmine, everything that you post from there, you always look incredible. And you always look incredible in everything that you post because you have the best sense of style, I think, at 3 News. Don't tell anyone I said that. They're going to hear it, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what they're going to think about you, Stephanie, after hearing this.
Well, you've set a high bar, Jasmine, so I'm sorry. We all need to step up our game. There's nothing I can do about it. So if people want to see your fashion sense, because you're always posting those news and shoes and all of that good stuff and the things you're getting from Avalon Exchange, where can people connect with you, Jasmine?
Just hop on Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, wherever you are. Everything is Monroe WKYC. So,
are you still on MySpace?
You know what? I was trying to get on MySpace just to do a story about how many social medias I used to have, but I can't remember the password. But I'm dying to go back and see who my what my top 5 friends were. I just need to go back.
Oh, that was such a thing. The top 8. You know, you are the second person in 2 weeks to mention MySpace on this podcast.
Really?
You are. You absolutely are. Ricky Smith talked about MySpace last week, so I had to ask you.
I love Ricky.
He's great. He was absolutely great. That was a great episode. If you're listening now, go back and listen to that one too. Jasmine, thank you for being with us. Thanks for getting us in the know on what we need to know here in Northeast Ohio when it comes to shopping.
You're welcome.
We appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me. Bye.
Jasmine really does have great style, and I can promise you this, you're not going to find any shoe pics on my Instagram anytime soon, so you're going to want to connect with her for that, because I am very committed to my news without shoes lifestyle. So as long as I'm working from home, you're going to want to hit up Jasmine for all of that. And on that note, it's time to leave you with a good follow. Now, when we were talking with Laura DeMarco earlier, she had mentioned Etsy when we were talking about how shopping small always made me think of handmade things along those lines. Well, Cleveland has its own version of Etsy. It's called Made Cleveland, and it's an online marketplace showing off the amazingly creative makers here in Northeast Ohio. And the website is madecleveland.com. You can also find them on Instagram at made.cleveland. The account, of course, features local makers, but it also holds giveaways. And these are contests that actual real people will win, not like those contests that we see from those major social media accounts that have hundreds of thousands of followers. And this is a pretty new situation too, by the way. This was started about 5 months ago, obviously, by a Northeast Ohio local. So made.cleveland on Instagram, and the website is madecleveland.com if you're looking for some of those Etsy style things, but you want to make sure that you're shopping from a Northeast Ohioan. And that is it for 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney this week. If you are enjoying the show, I hope that you will subscribe to it. Also, leave us a rating and a review. That really does help us get in front of more people here in Northeast Ohio and connect with people in our community. And also, share, because sharing is caring. I'll see you guys back here next week. I'm Stephanie Haney.
Thanks for listening to 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney from WKYC Studios. Subscribe now to stay in the know.